Hey, Doc Steph here. Welcome and thank you for tuning in to episode 3 of Let's Heal Together. Today, I will be talking about confidence is quiet. So let's get started. Did you know that truly confident people always have the upper hand? You may think that confident people are generally extroverts, highly sociable, and loud. However, confidence isn't about being bold or arrogant or the center of attention. True confidence is quieter and comes from an internal belief in your abilities, skills, and values. When you can project confidence, you'll get more of what you want out of life. That's because others love a confident person. It has been shown that people are more willing to follow someone confident than someone with low self-esteem. Why? Because quiet confidence exudes an energy of self-assurance and strength. It demonstrates that you are comfortable in your own skin. Quiet confidence is not loud or boastful, but rather an assurance in yourself and your abilities. Vico Alvanen said something like this: being confident means entering a situation knowing you'll be fine in the end, even if the outcome is negative. So quiet confidence is not arrogance. This is an example of how I project confidence. I have sat in various work meetings where at least one person will always want everyone to know how smart they are or even try to present themselves as more intelligent. You know, the one to be the first to answer all the questions or respond without thinking it through. I found that people are turned off by those desperate for attention. Usually, I will sit quietly to give myself time to think about the presentation. Most of the time, I am asked for my opinion or to provide input. I have nothing to prove to anyone, and sometimes my quietness is to let others be creative. I also have a rule. If you don't want to know what I think, don't ask. I am a critical thinker, so I give the hard answers or responses not to showcase, but to ensure the idea was thought through and viable. Therefore, I do not seek attention because being myself is far more effective than trying to prove that I have the knowledge, and people catch on to that attitude quickly. Now, if you were to ask me why would I follow a confident person, there are there's a natural tendency to trust people more when they appear confident. However, they have a telltale sign of slight nervousness if you are observant. And that is what I look for in a leader: confident yet humble. It assures me that people is competent and can be trusted. Why? Because their tail sign demonstrates humility to me rather than boastfulness, which leads to narcissism. The confident person would draw me into their knowledge and not try to impress me with their knowledge. They would have the ability to ask thought-provoking questions to get me to learn how to problem solve for myself. The confident person may have the whole leadership package, but without humility, they will be unable to coach, mentor, or hold me accountable. It is easy for me to follow them because their words and actions are consistently in alignment. They have the ability to inspire others to make things happen. They don't crave my approval or praise because they draw their self-worth from within. The truth is, anyone can improve their confidence if they're willing to put forth the effort. Let's talk about 7 ways to exude quiet confidence that you can embrace and incorporate into your behavior. The first one is to believe in yourself. You cannot project confidence if you do not believe in yourself or your actions. For instance, if you want to start a business, you need to believe that your business is feasible. If you don't believe in yourself, you cannot possibly project genuine confidence. You will naturally be more confident if you are well aware of your strengths and capabilities. A good grasp of what you are good at, what you enjoy, and what you know will allow you to project more confidence. When I started my nonprofit, I had to first acknowledge that I could do it. I had to have faith in my own abilities, first and foremost. I had to take an accurate self-assessment, discover the weaknesses in my skill set and strength, then minimize the negative impact. Likewise, I had to clearly understand my strengths and where to use them appropriately. Then invest in me. Put the time and energy into learning more about what I was trying to accomplish to offer my best continually. However, building confidence is a journey, not a destination. So I built my confidence in my work by being happy with who I am. The second one is get others to believe in you. Probably the most difficult job for a leader is to persuade others to follow. When you project confidence, you will find followers for your cause. They will be attracted to your strength and will feel comfortable that you know what you're doing. It is much easier to act confident when the belief of others surround you. It can only be possible if you inspire your followers by setting a good example. Confidence is infectious when working with a team. So, confidence is the key. Confidence exudes when you have integrity. Stick to your values and core beliefs because certainty will be impossible without ethics. Building self-confidence is about understanding what it means to live with integrity so you can grow your self-esteem through acts of truthfulness. The expectation of others is crucial in building confidence. People expect me to always tell or give them the truth, not because I'm a minister, chaplain, coach, or mentor, but because they believe I will. For example, some coworkers wanted to help another coworker with a personal situation by involving upper management. They came to me for support with this effort. So we met with the branch chief. He turned to me and asked if I believed what the coworkers had presented. And I said yes. Then he said, if Stephanie considers it, I will take action. By the way, his involvement did help the staff member's personal situation by changing her work situation. Also, he believed that I would tell him the truth. Another point is, I was often asked my opinion or thoughts in the workplace about a current event by those in higher positions or education. I felt the pressure to come up with something intelligent to impress them while thinking, I am not as bright as them. Why are they asking me? And I found it more valuable to be myself and respond honestly. They were not looking for intelligence. They already knew I was knowledgeable. What they were calling upon was my integrity. And also, being your authentic self will not only boost your confidence, but develops your credibility with others. Do not compromise your integrity to fit in with others or concern yourself with what they may think about you. The one thing they will remember is your values, which is a quality that may help you to succeed. If it does not work out with that job, that position, or relationships, then it was not meant for you. Comparison is the worst thing compromising is the worst thing you could do for your confidence. So let's move on to number 3. Create an environment for others to succeed. Confident people don't fear competition. If you are in a position of power, you can project confidence by promoting a thriving environment for all. People will see that you aren't afraid of being upstage. Few things are more confident than someone who isn't scared of others' success. Confident people share the spotlight and shift the focus on those who worked hard to help get them to accomplishment. They focus outward because they see all the wonderful things that other people bring to the table, and then they praise them. Also, the success of other people does not lower your self-worth. Celebrate their victories. If a friend, family member, or coworker achieves an accomplishment, it does not mean you are falling behind. I welcome competition in my business because it challenges me to continue to grow. In fact, I probably learn more from you than you do from me. Learning from the competition opened me up to new ideas and opportunities. I compare the competitions, why, their how, and what they try to achieve versus my own. And then also keep in mind, application is the key. You may have heard the saying, what God has for you, it is for you. An example of the expression is in 1 Samuel chapter 16, verses 1 through 13, where the little boy David received what God had for him, the anointed to be the next king of Israel after King Saul. So to put it another way, if you have a dream or a vision to do something, you have the ability and the skills to bring it to fruition. It also means you can study your competition and apply it how you were created to do it. Don't just copy someone else's ideas. Learn from them and how they will benefit the way you envision the dream and the purpose given to you. Then cultivate an environment for others to thrive by allowing them to use their skills and giftings with your guidance. Your confidence can help build someone up to succeed, and you might find your successor in the long run. So number 4, do not pass judgment. Okay? That is so huge because we have to remember where we came from. Confident people don't pass judgment on others because they know everyone has something to offer and don't need to take others down a notch to feel good about themselves. Making someone feel bad about their skills, their abilities, or even about themselves, just to make yourself feel good. Why? If you're confident, you know your abilities and your skills, so you don't need to try to take someone else down, but you can help build them up. Comparing yourself to other people is limiting. That's another no-no. Don't compare yourself. We all were uniquely made, created, and designed for the purpose and purpose in this world to be who we are and not to be someone else or compare ourselves to someone else, because it's only going to limit you to to reaching your full potential. Because if you're trying to compare yourself to someone else, then you're not using your gifts. You're relying on their gifts, and only that person is able to appropriately use their gift because it's theirs. Use the ones that were given to you, because confident people don't waste time sizing people up and worrying about whether or not they measure up to everyone they meet. Passing judgment is a characteristic of self-conscious people. In order to feel better about themselves, they constantly judge others. They judge their friends, family, co-workers, and even strangers. If this sounds like, something you do regularly, you need to change that habit. Self self-worth comes from within. It's on the inside of us. It's how we feel about ourselves, how we love ourselves, how we are confident in ourselves. So confident people don't need to judge others because it's irrelevant to their lives. You don't need to pass judgment to achieve feelings of prestige and accomplishment. Be happy with your own accomplishment. Don't seek everyone else's approval, or, be proud of what you have accomplished with the silence that's within you, because you know what you're capable of doing. Number 5, actively listen. People with confidence listen more than they speak because they don't feel like they have anything to prove. Confident people know that by actively listening and paying attention to others, they are much more likely to learn and grow. Instead of seeing interactions as opportunities to prove themselves to others, they focus on the interactions itself because they know this is far more enjoyable and productive in a productive approach to people. When someone is speaking, they commit to not only listening to what the person says, but also understanding what they mean so that they can respond in the best manner possible. And basically what that means is, if you are guilty of formulating responses in your head without thoroughly listening to what the person is saying, you're not going to respond accurately or appropriately. And it's an indication to the other person that you're really not listening to them, because how you respond to them is going to determine whether they will respond to you or follow you, because they already know you're not listening. If they're asking you about an apple and you're responding about a car, then they already know that you're not listening to you. That's just I know it's a far-fetched example, but, it is what it is. This is what happened. We hear keywords when people are speaking, and we take that keyword and we start thinking of a response, an answer, and you haven't even heard them out. You haven't even heard the full story. You just heard that one word and it triggered you to something else. And also what happens is you take the conversation in a different direction, a totally different direction, because you only heard a cue word and that word triggered something within you. And so you decided that you want to talk about that, but that's not what the other person is talking about. This means focusing on the other person with a mind clear of distractions so that they feel understood. And that's the main point of actively listening, allowing the other person or making the other person feel that they're understood the same way that you would want. You have to think about times where you talk to somebody and you're like, they just don't get it. They just don't get it. No, they don't get it because they wasn't listening to you. Okay? So just remember when the shoe is on the other foot to give that person the same respect. Number 6, remain calm. If you overact to every situation that comes your way, people will lose confidence in your ability to lead. Would you follow somebody that's panicking every time something come up, or their anxiety takes over them when something come up, because they haven't took the time to breathe and assess the situation? It will make others view you as a weakness. They will view that particular instant, that moment, that response as a weakness, and will suspect you lack confidence. Once that happens, it's hard to turn that image of you around in their minds. Try to keep calm even during tense situations. Um, Another way you may possibly turn that around is to let them know, humble yourself. Let them know, apologize. You know, I'm sorry, I reacted. Um, but let's approach this differently. Something like that, something to turn that situation around, because their first impression of you during a crisis, you would lose them, you know. So calmness is one of the defining traits of people with quiet confidence. They are collected, observant, and patient, but they are not weak. Someone with true confidence is mature and understands they do not need to show off to be respected or acknowledged. Self confidence people know who they are. They sit back and watch things play out because they know how things will turn out in the end. If you notice, anyone who always appears to have his or her act together, carries their own, carries themselves calmly, behaves maturely, and never lets little things get under their skin. That person has quiet confidence. Number 7, last but not least, use the correct body language. Have you ever talked to someone and they're responding to you with all body language? They got wrinkles in their forehead. Like, what is she talking about? Or they won't look you in the eye, or they're distracted doing other things. It's their body language that's sending a message that I don't care what you're saying. I don't care about what you're saying. So we have to be careful. It might not be fair, but our appearance often judges us. One of the best ways to project confidence is to make an excellent first impression with proper body language. People with quiet confidence may not talk much, but their body language will tell you a lot about the kind of person they are. They will carry themselves tall, make eye contact, and handle their words as they mean them. I remember speaking with this pastor one time, and she was very busy. She was doing things. She was moving around in the office, and I was sitting there. And the minute I said, I need to talk to you, she turned around, forward faced me, she faced me, gave me eye contact, and she sat still and she listened. And that told me a lot about her. It really did. And I chose to emulate that for the rest of my life. Give people the attention that they need when they need it, because you never know what somebody is going through or what's happening in their lives, especially if you work close with them. You can notice in a confidence, especially in how someone sits and makes eye contact. Just like the example I just gave you, how she turned around and she sat and like, okay, I'm listening. People with low self-esteem would take little space, whether standing or sitting. On the other hand, someone with quiet confidence will not talk as much as an extrovert, but you'll notice how they occupy space in a social setting. Again, a confident person can sit in a corner and be quiet, but it's because they're observing others. They're standing tall in their own perspective, in their own space. When they speak to you, they fearlessly hold your gaze and take on space. And when they sit calmly with their shoulders back or legs crossed. So I just want to give you some actionable steps, as we always do. So the first one is be more positive. Having confidence requires being positive. Otherwise, you won't believe in yourself, and others won't either. Use daily affirmations to shift your mindset to positivity from negativity. You'll find plenty of resources online that can give you the necessary affirmations. You're also welcome to create your own. Please make sure you say them out loud every day. Number 2, analyze your past failures and learn why they happened. Also, determine what you did that you would do differently the next time something similar were to happen. Start recording your failures and continue to analyze them in the future. Be sure to accept that failure is a learning process rather than something to be ashamed of. And number 3, ask 3 people you know what they think are your strengths and weaknesses, somebody that you trust. This will prove that you are better at things than you believe, because sometimes other people can see things in you that you can't see in yourself. It can also help you improve on the areas that are considered weaknesses. Once you improve on some of these critical weaknesses, you will be naturally more confident. But also build on the positive ones. Don't just accept your positive traits and leave it there. You can always improve on that as well and become a master at it. So as a recap, signs of a confident person: 1, they're willing to share their opinion but are ready for correction from others. 2, they are willing to ask for what they want or need regardless of the response. 3, they don't find a need to compare themselves to others. 4, they accept their vulnerabilities and aren't afraid to show them. 5, they take responsibility for their mistakes. And number 6, they don't crave external validation but celebrate their efforts and gifts themselves. Number 7, they're ready to listen to others whenever it's their turn. And 8, they're willing to take risks on goals they deem worthy. Number 9, they compare themselves mostly to persons they have been and who they wish to become. And 10, they're willing to ask for help. And last, number 11, they admit they don't have all the answers. So in your reflection time on quiet confidence, I just want to have 2 quotes this time. Joel Annesley said, "The quiet ones, the introverts, are uniquely gifted. We have tremendous patience and empathy. We don't need to say much, yet we're able to build deep connections and rapport with those around us. The act of displaying quiet confidence is much easier to cultivate than we think. It's built in, a bundle accessory. We simply have to activate it." Another quote I found in Isaiah 30:15 says, "For the Lord God, the Holy One of Israel, has said, you will be delivered by returning and resting. Your strength will lie in quiet confidence, but you are not willing." So to wrap this up, this brings us to the end of this episode. Remember, genuine confidence can only come from within, and the right relationship we have with ourselves. Face yourself in a quiet time when you're alone. The person you're looking at in front of you in the mirror when nobody is looking is the real you. Are you determined to be quietly confident? Then you must be passionate in your pursuit of a greater future. I hope these 7 ways to get quiet confidence were beneficial. And leave a message or a comment below telling us which confident building tactic you're going to focus on. As always, thank you for listening to Let's Heal Again. Confidence is quiet. Peace and blessings.